We're about a week on from the Alec Baldwin interview that he gave exclusively to George Stroumboulopoulos and fucking ABC News, and yeah, that's kind of aged like a glass of milk on the radiator, don't you say? Yeah, because some admissions, which we'll get to. We got a couple of articles here, but Baldwin, yeah, he's taken the media about as well as he normally does, because this dude has a long history of altercations with the media, which I'm not going to hold against him. I think the media are a contemptuous bunch anyways, but especially if you're trying to rehabilitate your public appearance, because I don't think anybody's really buying the fact that, oh, I didn't pull the trigger, I didn't pull back that hammer, I didn't even have a gun, I wasn't even on the movie set, I don't even know who shot that woman, she's not dead, she's just acting, yeah, she's very good, I'm gonna cast her in my next movie, and whatever the fuck he was on about in that stupid interview, because, yeah, I didn't pull the trigger. And I think the evidence kind of begs to differ there, stupid. But he's out there banging on porters in New York City when he should just be laying low. Doesn't really look good, bro. And I've seen some of those sympathetic pictures that have come out in the aftermath. Oh, he's got bags under his eyes. He's 64 years old. He probably just had to poop a couple of times during the night and didn't get a great night's sleep. But it could also all be staged anyways, just like his interview and just like this interaction. Alec Baldwin chases after a reporter in NYC, calling her a little fucking pig. You get back here! Where he's set to host an awards gala. Oh, cool. I'm glad somebody can outright just murder somebody and then just continue to live their life because they have the right politics. Actor Alec Baldwin chased a reporter questioning him in New York City on Monday night, just days after his primetime interview with George Stephanopoulos. The encounter allegedly occurred in New York's Upper East Side when the New York Post reporter approached Baldwin as he encountered a private residence. Wait, Mr. Baldwin, I have to ask you, what brings you to New York City? I live here. Okay, thank you. Bye. Levine asked Baldwin as his wife, Hilarious, pleaded with him to go away. Mr. Baldwin, why? Who's there? Or who's here? Baldwin then turned around and charged Levine. Who's Levine? Must be the reporter, I guess. While wielding an umbrella. Oh, thank God, at least it's not a fucking prop gun. Hilaria held him back. Jesus. Oh, it's John Levine. Sorry, they didn't describe it. Sloppy journalism, Breitbart. According to the Rap, Baldwin will be hosting the Robert F. Kennedy Ripple of Hope Awards Gala. Okay, cool. That's anybody who's on the other side of the camera of Alec Baldwin. Hope is the best they can use. In New York City on Thursday night, making it his first public appearance after his public interview, but whatever. Since the day he shot cinematographer Helena Hutchins on the set of Rust, the event will unfold at the New York Hilton Midtown Manhattan Hotel and will be attended by Vice President Kamala Harris, of course, failed Georgia, and once again, she's going to be running it back. If you guys watched a couple weeks ago when she re-announced... No, it was last Friday, I think. Yeah, she's going to be running back another fucking gubernatorial effort in Georgia because losing once wasn't painful enough for fat-ass Stacey Abrams, Jose E. Feliciano... Oh, okay, Feliz Navidad, my friend. And Amanda Gorman. I don't know who that is. And the event's website. For 53 years, the Robert F. Kennedy Ripple of Hope Award. Hosted in the kitchen area. No, I'm sorry. Has honored exemplary leaders. Wait, what? So why is Baldwin hosting this? Anyways, across the international business, entertainment, and activist communities who have demonstrated a commitment to social change. yeah. The cinematographer change. And reflect Robert Kennedy's meth-loving and whoremongering. Oh, passion for equality, justice, basic human rights, and a belief that each and who gives a fuck. During his sit-down interview with Stephanopoulos, Baldwin said that he does not believe criminal charges will be brought against me. I'm famous, after all, and I didn't pull that trigger, and I'm not talking to you right now, and the cameras aren't rolling, and come see my new movie, Rust. It just abruptly ends about halfway through. I don't know what to say about it. It's a full movie, though. I've spoken to the sheriff's department multiple times. I don't have anything to hide. Why do you lie, fucker? But yeah, a lot of people, a lot of lawyers, legal experts, like legitimate legal experts, not like fucking law Twitter, they watched the interview, and I was like, why did you admit all of this stuff, Baldwin? Aren't you supposed to be trying to avoid any criminal culpability? Why the fuck, until the investigations are over, did you decide that I need to tell my story? Because nobody in their right mind would have advised you to give a nationally televised interview. But maybe you're just such a narcissist and you just don't fucking know proper way to conduct yourself during these very trying times for yourself. But you don't have to take my opinion on it. Let's see what the legal community has to say on it. Some legal experts said Alec Baldwin's last Thursday's interview with ABC News could be used against him and was a mistake. Pretty much everything I've heard. Yeah. During the interview with Stephanopoulos, Baldwin spoke about the October shooting incident that left the Russ photo director, cinematographer. Come on, let's be cordial about this. Helene Hutchins dead. Authorities in Santa Fe, New Mexico said that Baldwin accidentally discharged the firearm, although charges have not been ruled out in the case, but yet still haven't been levied. Somehow a live bullet in the gun, a bullet that wasn't even supposed to be on the property, Baldwin claimed during the interview. Someone is responsible for what happened, and I can't say who that is, but I know for sure it wasn't me. Okay. Criminal charges, I don't know. You take a look at what's happening with the Kim Potter trial, which I've been following with as well. You apply that same logic to Alec Baldwin, and yeah, you got to try to reconcile that's going on there, but civil liability? I don't know, dude. You could be hung up on a bunch of different levels because you were also the producer on the project. This was your production company. A lot of people could be sued, and the bar in order to get to advantageous result in a civil liability suit is a lot lower than criminal charges or even a criminal conviction. So why would you do this? This makes no fucking sense. 63-year-old actor then alleged that he didn't pull the trigger, suggesting that the gun just fired. It just happened. This is what happens with guns. Have you ever seen the movie Toy Story? It's just like that, okay? Whenever you're not paying attention to a gun, it just fucking goes off. It's just like toys, and it's like Woody, okay? He was a cowboy too, and that's what I was acting like, okay? Whenever you're not paying attention to Woody, he would just go ahead and he'd just act like it's real life, and that's just what happened with the gun. It just went off. I wasn't looking at it. Nobody was looking at it. Don't look at me either. The trigger wasn't pulled. I didn't pull the trigger, Baldwin said. When asked about whether he pulled the trigger, Baldwin said, No. I would never point a gun at anyone and pull the trigger at them. Well, you did, because somebody's dead, so you at least pointed the gun at them. Rachel Fissett, a partner at the Los Angeles-based Zweiback, Fissett and Coleman, said that Baldwin's comments during the interview could be used against him by prosecutors if he's charged or in a civil lawsuit. That's what I'm thinking is probably going to happen, because obviously I don't think any prosecution, especially because this is Alec Baldwin after all, and he's like, when it comes to famous actors who are still active and alive, he's got to be up there, okay? I don't like him that much, but he's a great actor. Okay, because he's a vapid dickhead and you can just fucking pump lines into his head and you can just recite them on screen. So he's good at doing that. Okay, he's famous, and famous people have different laws and different rules than others. Why do you think Jussie Smollett's trial wasn't fucking publicized? And he's but a fraction as famous as Baldwin. So Alec Baldwin is clearly devastated by the tragic accidental killing of Miss Hutchins, Fissett told Fox News. He likely feels compelled to speak publicly as a result because, he has no real sense of the real world, and he is sympathetic at times, and it relates to the trauma he's experiencing. Get to the gist of it. In the ABC News interview, Baldwin, she added, is now trying to direct the narrative in a way that shifts blame away from the tragedy to him. However, it is never a good idea to speak publicly during an active investigation. Always a stupid idea to do this, and this case is no different. Any statements made on television during an investigation could result in unintended omissions that could be used against him later at a trial, or could prejudice the prosecutor against him. Yeah, exactly. Like, there's nothing to be gained by doing this interview, okay? Literally, the media is doing a full court press on this one. Oh, it was an accident, and Baldwin was not to blame at all whatsoever. Nope, don't ever lump any sort of responsibility on him. But let me tell you how Kim Potter is a cold-blooded racist killer, more at 11. From a legal perspective, Baldwin interview was a mistake. Rahami noted. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. This is former Assistant U.S. Attorney Nahami Rami. That's not his name or not her name. It's just hilarious to say. So, their perspective on this. From a legal perspective, Baldwin's interview was a mistake. His statements can and will be used against him in a court of law, and you have the right to an attorney. No, he wasn't Mirandized, but that's what it sounds like. And any potential criminal prosecution, Baldwin's attorney can't use the interview to help him because his answers are heresy. At best, the interview was a calculated public relations move that may backfire. Yeah, no shit. Yeah, just another perspective on this from somebody who literally wrote the book on like self-defense and gun crimes themselves. Andrew Branca of the Law of Self-Defense. His take on the situation. Well, Alec Baldwin, sorry, it's not his brother Adam. I'm sure he's a swell guy and he's just off getting drunk somewhere else. But could his killing of Helena Hutchins be murder and life imprisonment? Well, what could you do? Okay, what could happen? What charges could be brought on this one? On October 21st, the actor Alec Baldwin fired a .45 long Colt round into the body of cinematographer Helena Hutchins, killing her while on set of a low-budget Western film, Rust, setting the scene. General theme of his previous commentary is that Alec Baldwin's shooting of Miss Hutchins appears to have been the result of reckless conduct, and that reckless killing, albeit unintentional, qualifies as involuntary manslaughter. Further, felony involuntary manslaughter carries a prison sentence of up to 4 years under New Mexico law. Seems to fit, and he would know. There is, however, another prosecutorial argument that could be made on the facts of the case that could result in a far more than merely 4 years in prison. Indeed, it could justify a sentence of life imprisonment without the possibility of early release. He'll never face us, but let's just hear him out. It raises the questions of whether that could be why Alec Baldwin took the tremendous risk of his interview with George Stephanopoulos the past week before that. Oh yeah, no, it was past week, sorry. Shortly after which he deleted his Twitter account. Yeah, him and his wife deleted his Twitter account after accosting that poor defenseless little New York Post reporter. Whatever. And a motive lever and was it because he's been advised that if he doesn't pull every political and emotive lever at his disposal, he could be looking at life in prison if prosecuted, and not merely the worst case of 4 years. Under New Mexico law, an unlawful intentional touching or application of force done in an angry manner qualifies as simple battery. Of course, we're presuming that Baldwin never intended to actually apply force to Hutchins. Nevertheless, merely putting someone in fear of imminent battery is itself a crime. I've heard Branca make this argument, so I'd like to share this with you. Under New Mexico law, menacing conduct which causes another person to reasonably believe that he is in danger of receiving an immediate battery qualifies as a misdemeanor simple assault. Further, a gun, a deadly weapon, was used here. And unlawfully assaulting someone with a deadly weapon means putting them in fear of imminent harm from a gun escalates the criminal offense to felony aggravated assault. And finally, under New Mexico law, the killing of one human being by another without lawful justification is the commission of any felony qualifies as felony murder as first degree in the first... qualifies as felony murder as murder in the first degree. My mistake. Now that all sounds like pretty bad news for Alec Baldwin, and it is. There's at least some good news as well. First-degree murder is a capital offense under New Mexico law, as in a death sentence, execution, the Green Mile. Not going to happen. Fortunately for Alec Baldwin, however, New Mexico repealed its capital punishment sentencing in 2009. Shucks. So, at least the prospective fate is off the table in this case. Nevertheless, the prospect of life imprisonment without the possibility of early release, which is quite a stretch, a bit longer than merely 4 years of involuntary manslaughter. Why this couldn't be felony murder, okay? Well, obviously, just laying out the case that, yes, a simple battery, and what he would allege, okay, what Branca's alleged before, is that pointing a gun at somebody and merely cocking back the hammer is enough for a simple assault. Yes, would be. Okay. But again, these are extenuating circumstances of the filming of a movie, so some creative license may be afforded. Now, I'm obliged to point out that New Mexico Appellate Court apparently don't think too much of felony murder rule in general, and have made numerous efforts to interpret that rule narrowly. Because of that, Baldwin is has definite legal arguments to make the conduct stand outside the boundaries of felony murder under New Mexico law, despite what a plain reading of the New Mexico murder statute would suggest. I caution here that while I make a general commitment to translate the law into plain English and avoid legalese, I'm afraid that there are certain legal doctrines that are inherently hair-splitting, and New Mexico's treatment of felony murder doctrine falls into that category. If you're digging into the nuts and bolts of the legal doctrine, read away. If you don't, you can stop reading now, and I've been informed that Alec Baldwin would have definite legal counter-arguments if felony murder case had been placed against him. For example, in the 2016 New Mexico Supreme Court decision of State v. Marquez, check it out there, the court ruled that a felony murder could not be predicated on just any underlying felony, that in a particular case, the underlying felony of shooting from a motor vehicle. The court argued that despite the plain reading of the murder statute, the commission of any felony, they believe that the legislature did not intend felony murder to apply to just any underlying felony, but rather, not all felonies can serve as predicate for felony murder. For one thing, some felonies are not inherently dangerous to human life or are not committed in a dangerous manner. Interesting. Well, fair enough. Although that suggests an arguable surplusage of felonies in law general, but that's a topic for a different day. Obviously, the New York Supreme Court sees matters differently when the underlying felony includes elements of some form of murder. However, where a felonious assault or battery results in unintended death, the court reasons the appropriate elevated charge is not felony murder, which is a form of murder in the first degree, but rather second-degree murder. So that's what Baldwin could be facing if the courts are feeling particularly randy that day. The matters because whereas first-degree murder is punishable by up to life in prison, second-degree murder is punishable by up to only 9 years in prison. Wow, what a fucking drop-off there. Kind of like the acting talent between the rest of the Baldwin brothers and Alec. Oh, of course, these scenarios are distinguishable from that of Alec Baldwin because those scenarios involved an intent to cause at least some degree of harm, whereas we are presuming that Baldwin never intended to actually harm Hutchins at all. So these are charges that, you know what, in certain politically motivated situations might find themselves running afoul of the defendant. But like I've stated multiple times in this video, this is Alec Baldwin we're dealing with. So just so you guys know, all of the charges that could be on the table and everything that could have been avoided if Alec Baldwin didn't make that stupid decision to sit down for that retarded fucking interview. But them be the breaks. Those are the facts, and we can't really deal with an alternate reality. Who the fuck are we? Hillary Clinton, after all? One of Alec Baldwin's close personal friends. But with that said, guys, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.